Can swagger alone fill a bank account? With Zlatan, it sure looks like it. I'm Mark, and today I'm pulling the threads on how a crazy long career and an even louder persona turned into serious money. Quick favor, tap like and subscribe so you don't miss our deep-written breakdowns. You're watching Kickin Riches. We did the homework on this one. We dug through Forbes lists, news reports, and even Swedish corporate filings, so the numbers aren't guesses. Here's the first. In 2017, Forbes pegged Zlatan at $32 million for the year, salary plus endorsements. Not bad for a guy in his mid-30s. And that wasn't a fluke. Before that, he stacked trophies like sneakers. Try 13 league titles in 15 seasons. That kind of resume forces clubs to pay premiums and fans to pay attention. But here's the twist. Was it just the goals, or did the swagger itself cash checks? By the end, you'll know which bets he made on himself that paid big, and which ones hit the post. What do you think Zlatan's next big move might be? Drop it in the comments. All right, let's rewind to the beginning and see how a kid from Rosengard built the launchpad for a brand that sells on and off the field. How did a kid from Malmo become a multi-millionaire by scoring goals? For Zlatan, it started in Rosengard, a tough part of Malmo, and exploded across Europe. He breaks out at Ajax. Then it's Juventus and Inter in Italy, Barcelona in Spain, AC Milan back in Italy, PSG in France, Manchester United in England, and even a star turn with LA Galaxy in the US. Everywhere he landed, trophies followed. The wild stat? 13 league championships in 15 seasons, according to Sports Illustrated. That's not just bragging rights, that's bargaining power with commas. When PSG bought him from AC Milan in 2012, it was a then record fee for the club, and it came with big wages to match in a new era. Years later, the payoff shows up in public tallies too. Forbes counted $32 million for him in 2017 alone, salary plus endorsements, even as he pushed age 36. We checked trophy archives and league records so you don't have to. Every medal meant more zeros. But scoring is only half the story. The real question is how he turned those transfers and contracts into a bankable master plan. Which title do you think paid him most? France, Italy, or somewhere else? Let's open the contract playbook next. What actually fattens Zlatan's wallet on the pitch? Contracts, big ones with smart timing. At his peak in Paris, reports put him around 14 million euros a year. Manchester United brought him in on a hefty one-year deal even after a serious injury, a nod to how much his presence sells shirts and wins games. And in the US, LA Galaxy made him a designated player. That's the MLS rule that lets teams pay stars beyond the salary cap, reportedly around $7 million a year. Stack that across 2 decades and the math adds up fast. In 2017 alone, Forbes logged $32 million for Zlatan between salary and endorsements, a snapshot of his earning power late in his career. We scanned Forbes lists and league salary tables. His numbers in his 30s were still eye-popping. But here's the cliffhanger. With all that guaranteed money, why chase more? Because on-field cash has limits, age, injuries, and managers' moods. Off the field, your brand can scale worldwide while you sleep. Quick poll. Which league paid him the most? Ligue A, MLS, or Serie A? Drop your pick. Now, if the salary is the stake, the sizzle is the brand. Let's talk about how swagger became currency. How does a player's ego become money? With Zlatan, the persona is the product. He didn't just score, he told you he was great while doing it. He titled his autobiography, I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic, leaned into lines like, I can't help but laugh at how perfect I am, and fed a steady stream of moments that turned into memes. Every press conference, every Instagram post, millions of followers felt like a mini commercial. As someone who loves hoops and cars, I get it. Confidence sells. The swagger made him bigger than the jersey number. Brands pay for that heat, and fans want a piece of that story. Our crew dug through old ads and press releases. Zlatan's face showed up on everything from cars to vitamins to boots. None of it was accidental. He Zlatanized the narrative, bold quotes, iconic poses, and a mystique that felt market-ready. But did all that attention translate into steady checks? And who paid the most for the privilege? Up next, the endorsements, the Nike Adidas tug-of-war, the Swedish tie-ins, and why flipping sponsors sometimes cost him in the short term. What's your favorite Zlatan quote or moment? I want to hear it. Which off-pitch deals kicked in the biggest cash? Start with the boots. Forbes tracks Zlatan doing something wild, switching from Nike to Adidas and back to Nike in a single stretch. That kind of flip screams leverage, two giants bidding for your feet. But here's the catch. Without a long-term boot sponsor, his endorsement income dipped for a bit, according to Forbes. Risk and reward, even with laces. Beyond boots, he leaned into his Swedish roots. Volvo put him in moody, cinematic ads that felt like short films. Vitamin Well had him front and center, selling a clean, athletic lifestyle to Scandinavia and beyond. Top football endorsers can earn millions a year, and in 2017, Forbes' $32 million total for Zlatan included those sponsorship dollars padding his salary. We scoured press archives and marketing sheets mapping each switch. Even boot choices had a money story baked in. Tell me, would you flip sponsors like Zlatan to grab the better deal or stay loyal for stability? Poll time. Now, if the logo on your chest pays well, what happens when the name on the tag is your own? Let's peek at his entrepreneurial gambles, the wins, and one very expensive L. Did Zlatan bet on himself and win? Sometimes. In 2016, he launched AZ Sportswear with the Varner Group. The idea was clever, amateur to Zlatan, everyday athletes in gear stamped with swagger. But hype is a bill you have to pay. After 2 years, Sky News reported the line shut down with about an £18 million loss, largely from marketing costs. Ouch! Not every rocket reaches orbit. We went back through Swedish corporate filings cited in the reports to confirm it. Real money, real lessons. On the flip side, he put cash into esports. In 2017, he invested in Stockholm startup Challengermode as part of a $1.3 million round. That space keeps growing, and if the platform scales, equity can outpace any ad check. That's the Zlatan pattern. Swing big, accept variance, keep moving. Should he stick to endorsements or keep rolling the dice on startups? Tell me where you land. Either way, these moves prove the brand isn't just rented. Sometimes he tries to own the upside. And speaking of owning the story, he literally sold his life as content. Book deals, film rights, let's talk pen, premiere, and profits. Can your life story pay like a transfer fee? In Zlatan's case, yes. His memoir, I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic, dropped in 2011 and crushed in Europe. It turned his voice, raw, funny, defiant, into a product fans could buy. Then came the movie. Trade outlet Screen Daily reported that the feature film I Am Zlatan began shooting in 2020 and was pre-sold to distributors across Russia, Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and more before cameras even rolled. Pre-sales mean upfront money. That's cash flow off narrative, not goals. Think about it, a book royalty here, a licensing fee there, and international distribution checks, all while his social feeds keep the myth alive. As a storyteller, I love this play. You protect the brand and expand it at the same time. We pulled from the film trades to map where it sold. The business of a footballer's life looks a lot like Hollywood. What scene must make the cut in your version of the Zlatan movie? Drop your pitch. Okay, we've covered deals on the grass, on the gram, and on the big screen. What happens after retirement? He found a way to keep scoring. What does a world-class striker do after the last whistle? Zlatan stayed in the game, just changed positions. He retired in 2023, then re-entered AC Milan as an advisor to the club's new American ownership, reported in late 2023 and into 2024. Translation: his name, contacts, and taste now help with strategy, recruiting, and marketing. That's value you can invoice. Media often peg his net worth around the high hundreds of millions, roughly $190 million, though figures vary. Either way, the engine still runs. He's been linked to restaurant and nightlife projects in Stockholm, and he supports youth development. Smart ways to seed long-term relevance at home. We checked the latest club press and business reports. Everywhere you look, the brand is still busy. Quick thought, what should Zlatan launch next? A tech startup, a meatball line, or a museum to his goals? Vote below. This is the final turn in his playbook. Performance created gravity, the persona kept attention, and executive roles and equity aim to keep cash flowing. Now, let's boil it all down to the blueprint you can steal. So what's the secret play in Zlatan's money playbook? It's a blend. Elite performance bought the platform. A one-of-one persona sold the brand. Then he leered on endorsements, swung at startups, and even turned his life into IP with a book and a film. The numbers tell the story. Forbes listing $32 million for 2017 shows the scale of a single year at the peak. The AZ line losing about $18 million shows the risk baked into entrepreneurship. My take? He treated his name like a company. Invest it, license it, sometimes miss, but keep the flywheel spinning. That's why the checks kept coming for 2 decades. If you're vibing with this breakdown, hit subscribe, like, and share. More deep dives are coming here on Kickin Riches. Thanks for watching. What would you do if you were as famous as Zlatan? Launch a brand or just stack your coins? And whose financial playbook should we analyze next? Drop your pick. I'm Mark, and I'll see you in the next one.